how many days a week do you train? Every day?
Yeah, every day.
And how many sessions a day?
So Monday through Friday, we do a morning session and then an afternoon session. That's just my personal training. And then Saturdays and Sundays, it's just one session.
Now, the thing is like there's so much frequency there, but I'm assuming with everything you've just mentioned, you're throttling your intensity from session to session.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like a lot, but like certain sessions, you're kind of flowing and you're not killing yourself, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's a lot of drills, you know, so you're doing a lot of drilling. So that takes a lot of impact away from the rolling, and like the positional sparring is also like you're not starting in a neutral position and trying to wrestle the guy for, 30 minutes straight. You're starting in a mount and you're like playing in the position. So there's a lot of playfulness in the way that you train.
How cute.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to take something violent and make it playful.
Doesn't look playful.
But that's kind of like, especially when I'm trying to work on stuff, or if I need to get like a lighter session, I just try to flow a little bit more. But I'm constantly moving, so I'm still getting a workout. Just take a little bit of the impact away from the, and a little bit of the intensity off, so that I can at least do multiple sessions and train every day.
You went to the best trainer in the world. You went to the most intense gym in the world, or maybe it appears that it's the most intense gym, and maybe it's maybe they just train really well. But when he told you like one time a week, were you kind of like, I mean, obviously he's the guy to go to, right? John Danaher's the guy to go to, so you're going to listen to him. But at first, we were like, that can't be it.
I was
to back way off. That can't be it.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like, it made sense the way that he put it, and once you develop skills, he gave me this analogy that was really insightful, which was like, if you take a bicycle, like you flip a bicycle upside down, you take the tire, you start spinning it. At the beginning, it's going to be hard to spin, but once you get it going, you can barely flick it, and you can keep it at that speed for a long time. And so maintaining skills is a lot easier than developing skills. And so you just got to keep sharpening it every so often. And it's, again, it goes back to like the consistency is the most important thing. If you could train like the way that we train allows us to win with training volume as opposed to training intensity. So you get more volume over time of training, more time spent in every position than anybody else. And so that's, I think, like, I mean, I know for a fact that it's the best way to train because, I mean, I've just seen the results, not just in myself, but in other people. And so I definitely feel best training this way. I mean, training every day, no matter what, at some point, like, you're going to fatigue, you're going to be tired, you're going to feel beat up or whatever the case is.
Pretty much what you guys do is train every day-ish?
Yeah. And like, he doesn't 100% enforce that on everybody. It's not like you have to fucking train every single day, but like, he's there every day, and you want to be a champion, and so you can't like, just I at least feel like I'm obligated to train every day, and like I've always put that pressure on myself. I've always enjoyed training a lot, and so if I'm in the gym every day, even if I'm not doing a very intense session, at least I'm there, at least I'm learning something, and at least I'm moving my body and I'm staying consistent. Like, that's the most important thing for me. What
happens if you miss a day? Like, do you feel like somebody starts talking about something that, like, you're here, right? You're not there. And when you go back, like someone has like discoveries and different things, like, oh, we were working on this. Like, why do you feel like you missed out on a lot sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, there's definitely been times where that's happened, where I've like traveled for like a week or two, and then when I come back, I'll be like, wait, what have you guys been working on? He's like showing something that he's never taught me before. I'm like, fuck, like, but it's just like, it is what it is these days. Like, again, like, as long as I'm consistent, if I take a day off or I lose, a week because I'm traveling or whatever the case is, so as long as I'm coming back and I'm just rebuilding back into that normal routine, like, again, it's that training volume over time that I think is going to make the most difference.
Seeing some of your matches over the last couple of weeks, trying to follow along with what you're doing, it appears that you are really good at, I guess, I don't even know some of the terms, but like using your legs and getting people like in a body lock. Like that guy right there, that match that you just did, just seemed unbelievable the way you're able to control the guy. Is that something that you Like, do you spend a lot of time on that, or does that come natural to you? Or
The body triangle, like when I'm behind him, that seems to come natural to me. I mean, it just depends on who you're going against. Obviously, if I'm going against somebody who's really big, it's hard to lock it. But it's definitely from that position.
It looks like it sucks, especially with your arms stretched over your head.
Yeah, it's terrible. And you have
That's
like
how guys get their ribs fucking popped, bro.
Yeah,
it sucks.
It's like
It
probably,
doesn't, as like someone who doesn't know what's going on, it doesn't look like much.
Yeah,
But that is massively painful.
Yeah, that's probably the most controlling position you can be in. You control like your training partner's whole body. You have closed wedges around their hips, and you're behind them. So, it's definitely, in my opinion, the best way that you can control somebody from the back would be using that body triangle.
Do you have a wrestling background?
No. I wish I had wrestled in high school.
Looks like you do.
I definitely like to wrestle, and I feel very confident in standing position. But I don't have like a background. I never wrestled in like elementary school or high school or anything like that. I always enjoyed standing position, wrestling and judo. And John teaches a lot of wrestling, and he's very knowledgeable. So, we're able to pick things up relatively quickly. And he has us go through phases of like learning different things. But yeah, he emphasizes a lot of the standing position in training. So we do that every day pretty much.
If someone is trying to get into competing a lot and they do want that to happen, but let's say that maybe they don't have crazy high level training partners, right? You mentioned something really amazing about how you train every day, but it's not like you're going intense every day. I think a lot of people, when they hear someone like you mention they train every day, they expect you to be going 100% all the time. So stretching your intensity makes a lot of sense. But what are some other things that you see guys who train, they're just concepts that are messing up with the way that they're trying to train and the level they're trying to get to?
I definitely think that are you referring to somebody who's never competed before, who wants to compete, or somebody who competes regularly?
Let's say that they have a goal of trying to increase their level and compete regularly.
Okay. I think the most important thing for at least for me, what makes the most difference in terms of my performing in competition is competing also at a relatively consistent frequency where I'm not taking too many breaks between tournaments, because that way, one, I'm always training for something.
Yeah.
Two, I have the result of the previous tournament to kind of study and see, okay, what can I improve upon from this one to the next one? So competing regularly for me is important, whether that's once a month, once every 2 months, once every 2 weeks, or whatever frequency you want. Everybody's a little bit different. So that's important. And I think that you can learn a lot from watching your own matches. So if you've competed and you see that there's a certain, maybe you're losing in a particular way more so than others, you can learn a lot from your own matches as to what you have to work on. For me, that's why I almost only watch my own matches, or, I occasionally watch other people's matches, my teammates or whatever the case is. But for the most part, when I actually want to go back and watch an old match, I usually watch my own matches so I can see what it is that I've improved upon or what it is that I need to improve upon, and go and implement that in the training room. So you can learn a lot from watching your own matches, and in a relatively short amount of time. A lot of times it's a simple strategy that you just messed up on in your previous match that cost you the match. The guy got a takedown on you, and that was it, or whatever. It could be anything. It could be a very minor adjustment that you can immediately implement, and then boom, you go into the next tournament, and just because you fixed that one little thing, that could increase your performance. So when you get into competition, like, there's a lot of variables outside of like technique. There's like the rule set and the time, and so there's a lot of different things, the style of the opponent, etc., strategies. And so that's why I like to watch my own matches, because I'm in the gym every single day, I'm working on technique, but I can watch my tournaments and see, okay, how can I improve upon this strategy, or what's a different strategy that I could have taken that I can go in and implement when we're doing live rounds. Like, that's kind of like when you can practice that, those strategies.
Do you also record your training, or no?
No, usually not. No, I don't think I've ever recorded it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't do it.
Gotcha.
What about what are some things that you may have copied or kind of took note of, observed from teammates when you first got to train with John Danaher, where you're like, okay, this is how, like, was there anything that kind of surprised you when you saw maybe how they trained, or maybe even just how they acted in between. Like, oh shit, that guy, he eats his food right away. Like when he's done with his morning practice. Like I need to implement that. Were there any habits or anything that you saw from people where you're like, I think I need to take that for myself?
I definitely find that I do learn a lot from my teammates in terms of techniques and stuff like that. Rolling with them, just picking up on stuff that they do when they roll, or if I watch them roll, and then just asking questions, and we do that quite a bit, like go back and forth with technique and questions in our gym. But one thing that I did find is that, and I was familiar with the training because I had cross-trained with John and those guys before I actually joined a few times. So I kind of knew what the training structure was like, and I was familiar with it, and knew the guys, etc. But one thing that I found is that when you're at our gym, New Wave, a lot of the guys have much more crossover in terms of the moves that they do than in a lot of other gyms. And so we follow, there's obviously differences in sizes, in style, in attributes and things like that. Some people are a little bit faster, more explosive.
What's a crossover move? What's that mean?
In terms of like, you see that there's a lot of
it's like there's a system.
Yeah, there's a system in place that everybody is following that's similar, but each person has their own way of implementing that. Maybe their own ways, different ways that they like to chain techniques together, different details that they like to use. But there's a similar system. There's like a lot of crossover in terms of the way that we approach jiu-jitsu. Whereas if you go to a lot of other gyms, you find that there's a lot of people have a lot of different games. One guy's a really good half guard player, another guy's really good at takedowns, and so there's kind of like, it seems as though like there is an environment in which you get a lot of guys that are tough and they're training together and they all kind of figure their own stuff out on their own and they find what they like and they just stick to that. And that's what, in the years coming up, I got to train at a lot of different gyms. And so I noticed that was one of the main differences that I found. And John doesn't really push anything outside of systems to us. So everybody has their own lifting protocol, sleep protocol, recovery protocol, if they even have it at all, though everybody eats differently. And so there's like a lot of individuality in terms of the way that everybody like lives their life. He doesn't really push anything like that on us, but there's a lot of crossover in terms of the way that we approach jiu-jitsu. And so, and he's very open-minded in terms of like creativity, and he'll always encourage people to be creative. And so he'll almost like lay out the blueprint, and he's like, okay, now you try to figure stuff out inside there, make it your own, and that's what I always really was drawn to that training environment, like from the first day, even from visiting them, but like from the first day that I started training there full time, I always really enjoyed that way of training. So that's what I feel like I get the most, is that you could see that there's like an overall, like everybody's kind of working on the same things, and everybody's kind of like adding to it.
That makes a lot of sense. That's what happened at Westside Barbell. You couldn't necessarily just work out there. You were doing like the Westside program, and as you're pointing out, there was people with many different types of backgrounds and had to work on different things, but there was an overall system to the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, go ahead and comment down below and let us know what you liked about it. All right, share this with a friend. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also we are on Reddit and Discord. All that's down below. All our sponsors and everyone that supports us down below there too, so you can get whatever you like from us. All right, peace.